is no longer Mental Health Awareness Month. Um, However, a couple things made me want to do this video. I don't know if people were following Grayson Murray, the golfer who took his own life, and he was 30 years old, that died about a week ago. He said he had anxiety and said he stopped drinking. He battled alcoholism forever, and he stopped it 8 months ago, or in the beginning of 2023. And when he took his own life, he was sober. And so if people are always wondering, if people that don't really suffer from anxiety or depression or any type of mental illness like that, they might sit there and wonder, well, why would one be so sad and so depressed, and when they got this, that, and this, And I just want to just remind people that, pain, whether it's physical or emotional, you can't see it. And I think a lot of people, when you say somebody's in pain, they are looking physically for you to be in pain, whether they see a wheelchair, see it on your face, whatnot. But people, I know the saying, you don't know what other people are going through, but also, be aware of these kind of things, and this is why these things happen. Okay, so I'm a part of NAMI organization, Active Minds. I write some in some forums on there, and I'm also a part, I didn't mention this, the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention. I've written my story in a forum on there as well. I wrote a letter to our legislation here in Michigan, and I was hoping that they would accept my proposal. And this was a while ago, but they did not accept it. And I am just curious, which is fine. I still think I'm right, as far as what I wanted. But I am wondering this. They have a depression form that you fill out at the doctor's. Okay. It asks a couple questions. Are you depressed? Do you feel safe? That's the only ones that come to my mind. How many of you would fill that out if you were depressed? I'm curious, because I seen that there was studies that it shows that people do admit that. But what about some of the closed off minds that would never want to be labeled as depression? I mean, you're literally asking them if they have this mental illness. There's a stigma, people, of this. To me, why would a lot of people that might be depressed, but stigma makes people feel ashamed. It's literally what it does. It makes them feel isolated. Why would they, in a 15-minute doctor appointment, if they don't rush you, fill out they're depressed and let's take it from there? You don't even know what's going to happen from that point on. So what my proposal is to not have a depression form filled out. To me, I come from cardiology. I really loved what I learned, and I continue to just learn more stuff on my own. But what I do know is, especially doing cardiac testing and all that, and having to learn all that stuff, that all of these illnesses, all these illnesses stem from one thing. There's always this one component, and it's stress. So there's talk about stress. So how about have a form that is very simplified, very vague? How about, for example, I think I put in the letter I wrote, was there any changes that impacted your life in the last 6 months that changed your everyday life or something like that? Yes or no? And have your eating habits or your sleeping habits changed in the last whatever due to situation? Have you lost a job, a pet, or anything close to you. Those were a couple of things that I had written on there. Now, to me, that gets more down to if a person is having stress in their life, then asking if they have a diagnosis that they need from a doctor, but they're asking them, hey, are you depressed? Like, to me, it blows my mind. It's bizarre to me. And I want to know what other people think. See, I'm being serious. I need to know. Is that bizarre to you? I know someone that had a heart attack that is very fit and healthy and no uh, genetic craziness on their side at all. And what happened was, guess what happened? She had a heart attack because her coronary vessels, which are the small vessels that are attached around the heart muscle itself, so they like squeeze. They squeezed so much because she was so stressed. She was so tense. She was hypertensive, hence high blood pressure. Okay. So tense at certain times. She didn't have high blood pressure all the time. But that made one of her coronary spasms, or coronary vessels, that made one of her coronary vessels spasm so much that it cut off circulation to the heart and caused her to have a heart attack. That was lack of blood flow. A heart attack is a lack of blood flow, people. It doesn't have to be from an artery that's clogged because you ate like shit. It can happen, and it can happen from stress. You can get stress-induced angina, which is also a fancy word for chest pain. So why aren't we giving a form out if somebody is depressed? And then, you know what, how about this? Say, you know what, if there's here's a sheet, here's a couple of things that you can do to reduce your stress, or even talk to them, or whatever. And then if that doesn't work, come back to me, and then maybe we can look at the next step. So these people won't be against medicine, not saying that medicine is the number one thing, but you want people to be educated. So show them the steps to get healthy. And if that doesn't work and they know they've completed a step, they'll be more up to go to the next step to try to help themselves. But asking them if they have mental illness right off the bat blows my mind. What do you think? Does it blow yours?